morning, Elaine Kinsella. How are you?
Morning. I'm good, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm all right now. I have coffee, so I'm great.
Yeah, I have coffee, so I'm also great.
Yeah, it was one of those mornings now where first thing I thought of when I got up is right kettle. Come
Yeah.
on. First thing I thought of. I tell you what, Elaine, it's absolutely miserable outside, and it's actually going to be quite wet across the county this morning. Met Éireann are actually reporting localised spot flooding in places because we're seeing so many heavy downpours. Good news is that by the evening it'll slightly ease off, but certainly for the day we're going to get particularly heavy, persistent showers across most parts. And temperatures kind of roughly the same as yesterday, 11 to 13 or 14 degrees.
Okay. Now, some of the stories in the papers that we're waking to today, Andrew. Well, the big one on the front page of the Irish Sun today: piracy on the fly seas. Seriously, Andrew, do you think it's the same person all the
Wow.
time? Does the headlines?
I told you before, Elaine, I genuinely believe that there's a competition in the office of these newspapers. And the boss comes out and goes, right, lads, Ryanair, Belarus, hijacking, I need a
Yeah.
headline, go. And then he goes around the office and whoever wins gets a lollipop.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
throws a
I, I
lollipop
should
at them.
I should ask my friend Jumbo about it.
Yes, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask you. I'm actually meeting Jumbo tomorrow, and I'll ask him about that. Anyway, this story is obviously about the Ryanair flight that was forced to land in Minsk over the weekend. Well, the Taoiseach now has slammed Belarus after its so-called hijacking of this Ryanair flight. The blogger, 26-year-old blogger, I thought that in the photos we saw from yesterday, Andrew, he looked incredibly young. He looked even younger than that. He was grabbed off the diverted plane and in Minsk on Sunday. Micheál Martin said it's piracy in the skies. It's not acceptable. So a lot more to come from that. Now, the journalist who was taken off the flight and arrested has released a video and says he is okay. So we'll see about that. We're not sure. And also in the Irish Sun, are you a Friends super fan? They've got the Ultimate Friends quiz inside the Irish Sun today. So that should provide a bit of fun. It's a 2-page quiz. So get stuck into that in the Irish Sun today if you are a Friends fan.
In the Irish Examiner this morning, foreign travel on the cards from July. Ireland aims to be the early adopter of the digital cert for travel within the EU, as fully vaccinated people will be able to go to places in the Mediterranean hotspots like France, Spain, Italy and Portugal and so on. And cabinet sources have told the Examiner that under the EU digital cert, travel within the various EU bloc of countries is envisaged and based on vaccination rates, and the need to quarantine will be set aside. So essentially what that breaks down to is that they're saying you'll be able to, if you're fully vaccinated, you'll be able to travel to certain countries and then come home without the need to quarantine for 10 days, which I'm sure a lot of people will welcome. A breakaway and get away to some sunshine, especially on days like today. But that's on the front page there this morning. More then on what you mentioned there, Elaine. EU leaders want new Belarus sanctions, as EU leaders have agreed to impose new sanctions against Belarus, its aviation sector and businesses, propping up the Lukashenko regime after the forced landing of that Ryanair flight. And that's an interesting picture there on the front page. What you're seeing there is a supporter embracing 66-year-old grandmother Margaret Buttermer, who appeared in Bandon District Court in Cork for refusing to wear a mask in Dunnes Stores. She verbally abused the store manager and she was given a suspended 3-week sentence and a fine of €350 for public order offence. And she is quoted saying she hopes that the manager can forgive her for her verbal abuse, but she says she's only answerable to God and not the guards or the justice system. But that's on the front page of the Examiner there this morning.
Yeah, I don't understand, I must say, and I'm actually not being smart here, but there's a correlation between extreme religious faith and not wearing masks. I've seen it a few times coming up where people are saying, I'm not wearing a mask because God doesn't. I don't get that relationship, but there it is again now. It's come up a few times in the
It
past
has
few
been a few times, yeah.
It's a really strange one. I don't understand the correlation there. But anyway, yeah, that's a story in the Mirror as well today, actually, Andrew. Irish granny given suspended sentence and fined for refusing to wear mask in shop, just like you said. This is some good news in the Irish Mirror today. Concerts of up to 5,000 people possible in Ireland from next month, apparently. Now, this is Catherine Martin. She's the Minister for the Arts, and she's outlining plans for pilot gigs like we've seen. The Brits was one, the Eurovision, I suppose, was another. And what they do is they hold events and then they mass test people afterwards and they see. So any of the ones that happened in the UK, as far as I know, the ones I read about were pretty successful. They only got a very small number of cases out of those. There was another one in Liverpool, which had 5,000 people in recent days as well. So that would be fantastic. There'd be a wide variety of test events with a capacity ranging depending on the venue. That's kind of good news. Listen, can I tell you the latest on Prince Harry? This is like, he actually needs to stop talking now at this stage, right? So the latest is, now maybe this is all coming out of one interview, I suppose. I'm probably being unfair on him. He gave one interview and the media are drip feeding it now, obviously. But the latest anyway is that he wants Archie to be able to ride on the back of his bike, because he told Oprah that it was something he was never able to do as a child. And lo and behold, some media in the UK have unearthed pictures of him riding on the back of his father's bike. So they've sort of said, what? Yes, you did. So this photo that I'm looking at is of Charles, rather awkwardly cycling a bicycle, it must be said, and Harry on the back of it in his riding gear. So he's got like his riding helmet and his riding breeches and boots on. And William is there also then in his riding gear, riding his BMX or whatever. They're obviously off to the stables or whatever. So, grand Harry, you didn't get to ride in the back of a bike very much, but like, here's Daddy riding you to the stables to ride your pony in this photo that I'm looking at,
Yeah.
It wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
I think it all needs to stop now at this stage. And poor Harry, I feel incredibly sorry for him, because I think he's obviously deeply troubled.
I also I do feel sorry for him in the sense that I think he gets cornered with a lot of these interviewers, and then he says something, they run with it, and then I'm sure he sits back after, like, oh shit.
Probably.
With that now. Yeah. Now, having said that, he's still talking, so you're right. But by the way, people need to be. People are kind of like, oh my god, I can't believe they're still talking and all this stuff. I've heard of people who are going to go, God, would they ever just shut up? People need to realize they've signed a podcast deal and they've done a deal with Netflix. They're absolutely going to be in the public eye consistently now, forever, because. This whole thing about the quiet life, oh no, we're media shy. They've signed a podcast deal. They're absolutely going to be. There's going to be more and more stuff coming out all the time. So, people kind of need to reserve their surprise when they see Harry and Meghan giving interviews, because that's now what they do. So, I just think it's bizarre. But you're right, Elaine. I do feel sorry for him though, in the sense that it's like his entire regardless of what he says or does, the entire nation in the UK seem to have just gone, oh, bloody Harry, So it's yeah. But
I feel sorry for him.
I do. I think you're right. I think he's troubled.
Absolutely. And like, Oprah must be just like, these people will tell me anything. Like, most people have got a guard and a limit. Yeah. And they're like, okay, there's certain things I just won't talk about, and certain things are off limits. And she's just like, these two will literally spill their guts, which is rare.
Which is rare, exactly. More on the cyber attack in the Irish Independent this morning. Return of holidays abroad is at risk of delay due to the cyber attack on the HSE. The return of, so one paper says we could be back in the skies by July, but the return of summer holidays, according to the Independent, abroad is at risk of being delayed by the cyber attack that has crippled the health service for the last 10 days. And it's to do with the digital cert and the various infrastructure on the vaccine and so on. And EU leaders have forged unity in strong response to Belarusian hijacking of the Ryanair flight, a swift and punishing response to Belarus for its rogue interception of the Ryanair flight, and the abduction of a political dissident has the potential for big future changes. That's another story in the Irish Independent this morning. By the way, they also talk about in the Independent, I think a few of the other papers have it, you mentioned yesterday, Lynn, that Friday were due some sort of an announcement with regards to holidays and hospitality and so on. Last night it was reported that there'll be no time limit on people drinking and dining outdoors, but it's believed there will be a time limit on drinking and dining indoors if the tables are, again, only a metre apart. So that's something that we'll find out Friday, but some of the papers have that this morning as well.
Right, okay. Well, some of the top trends that we're waking to, well, in a break from all of that, Claire Byrne Live was a discussion about racism last night, and there's a lot of people chatting about that online this morning, Andrew, and a lot of reaction to that. Elvis is trending. I was on Talk About last week, talking about music I loved when I was a teenager, and Mark Lean was on talking about Elvis, and he's got some brilliant stories about Elvis, but this is on a less positive note than that. Quincy Jones has said he would never have worked with Elvis, because he was a racist. So this is something that Quincy Jones came out with yesterday. And also, a lot of people are chatting about that online today. I don't know the detail on that. I'll have to look into that one. But that's a big one as well.
I again, like you, I'm not sure the full detail. I know that it was the Hollywood Reporter. They're the ones who ran with that story. So, but I actually haven't read the article, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. Mayor of Easttown is trending this morning. We started watching it last week, Elaine. It's brilliant with Kate Winslet.
So
if you're
good.
looking for something, you're watching it, brilliant.
Yeah,
well, the latest episode was on last night, so we'll catch up with that later today. And Dignity 21, a tribute to Bob Dylan. It was his 80th birthday yesterday. And a lot of people paying tribute to Bob Dylan and the life of Bob and his music online as well yesterday.
Now, we've got a busy one on the way between 7 and 9 on Radio Kerry. Lots to do on the show today. We'll tell you about our Lee Strand competition. We'll tell you as well about the big invite. We've got lots of good music coming up. Roisin O's new song, which is brilliant, is on the show. And you remember Vance Joy? Do you remember that song, Riptide? Yeah, we haven't heard it from him in a while. We've got a song by Vance Joy, his new song, which is really good. That's coming up as well on the show today.
Also, I want to go through a list for you. They've updated this. They do this every couple of months. Looking at old photos, getting the answers right while watching a TV show quiz, doing a bit of cleaning. They've all been revealed as some of the top things that keep us happy.
Ah.
Yeah,
simple.
So simple things, yeah. So we'll come back to some of that stuff on the radio as well this morning. We're live in about 3 minutes' time. Enjoy your Tuesday, as wet and all as it is, and we will talk to you in a few minutes. Have a good day. Good luck.
Bye, guys.